G'day folks, this is the 4x4x4 Windmill cube, and I'm going to take you on a tutorial as to how I solve this thing. And I have to say it's certainly easier than the 4x4 axis cube, which had the cuts at sort of offset angles. This is quite symmetrical, even though it doesn't necessarily look it. When you start scrambling things, it's actually quite simple to see what is supposed to line up where, whereas with the axis cube we didn't have that luxury. So I'm going to go ahead and scramble this up and cut back in later on. But we'll notice on this scrambled puzzle that when we come to do the centers, we've got different types of centers. So this white piece here, and all the whites and the yellows are actually flat, and all of the other pieces are slightly raised. So we've got some like this, and then we've got some which have kind of two colors on them. So we're going to leave the whites and the yellows till the end, and we're going to begin by solving. We're going to find, say, the orange green center piece there and find its match, which is here. And so I can bring them together like that, and then I notice they're going down here to an orange. So I then want to find two corresponding orange pieces. There's one of them. Where's the other one? Ah, it's on the same center. Alright, so I can turn that off, turn this around, and then bring it back to make that pair. And then initially, at least, I can just turn the oranges up here. Now with that there, I'm going to basically make, white and yellow here, and I'll have these other centers running across this middle band. And so I'm now guided. I can say, well, if this is green-orange, what's going to go here? It's going to be one of these things with an orange on it. And I notice it's orange-blue. So that tells me I want to stick those ones there when they're done. So the first thing is to find them. There's one of them. And there's the other one, so I can bring that down to that face, just turn it off and move it back. And I'm always going to do that just in case I've already made something. If I hadn't done it, I would break what I'd already made. Now, I said that I wanted them to be next to the orange green, so I'm just going to turn that one up and get it ready there. And now I can find the two pieces which will be blues that need to be made. There's one of them, certainly there's the other one. Alright, so if I turn this down like that, I can make both of them, turn the face and bring them down, and that's made those ones. And you can see what they're going to do is turn around and match these oranges. So I could keep going here and say the next one is a piece with some blue in it, not the red-green, must be the red-blue. So let's turn that off and make that first of all. And red-blue comes down there, and that's going to match with two red pieces. So we see one red piece there, and we see another one here. And so we've got to match them together as we've been doing. Bring that down, turn it off, and return, and that'll always keep whatever we've done still. And now I want to turn these red ones up to this face, but I can't just turn them up to there because it'll knock everything else out. So I want to push out what I've already made, turn the face 180, and then bring them back. And that'll complete that in the right position. I can turn it around and see that I've got the blues matched up. And I've now only got one more to go here. It must be the green-red. And so I can happily do that. And that means I'm looking for two green pieces to finish these central ones anyway. I can bring them down. There we go, and just finalise those ones. Alright, now what that gets us, and you can see the central band, it's all flat there. I can turn it around, and just in the middle you can see the cubic shape starting to form. Now I've got to deal with my whites and my yellows. This is a particularly easy scenario here. I can just effectively do what I've been doing with the whites and the yellows. I'm just going to pretend that I don't have that particularly easy scenario, create something else. That's probably more usual, something like that. And so what you're doing here is to get the yellows and the whites, and the reason that I left them till last is there's no orientation on them, so I don't need to worry about positioning and getting them in the right direction. Here I would look at this double and this single. and I'd say, well, I'd like to get my yellow piece down here in a position such that I can turn it up to match with that one. You'll notice that when I turn it up to match with that one, it pushes out the two that I've made, and they were on the left. So now that I've matched it, I want to turn that newly matched pair to the right and bring it back, and that'll complete the yellow face, and of course that'll complete the white face as well. That's the centers done. Now for the edges, we want to basically make edges like this, but obviously which have the correct colors matched. And so if I see here a white, orange, green piece, I'm looking to match that with a white, orange, smaller piece. So there it is, and I can just turn this around, and it's now in a position to bring up next to the correct piece. And once I've done that, I want to take it out of this row where I've broken the centers up onto an adjoining face and replace it with something that's not done. This one doesn't look very done. So we'll bring that up, turn the new one on, and turn it down. Just get everything aligned. There we go. Once we've done that, I can turn back my centers to make sure that everything stays as it should be. And you can see there's the edge that I just made. And that's all there is to it. There's only that type, and I will just keep doing that and cut back in when I've got, about 3 to go. And I've now got to the point where I've just got 3 edge pairs to reduce: the red-green, green-orange, and the orange-red. And what I want to do here is basically, again, they're all flat, so there's no particular orientation to them, so I've saved the easiest ones to last. And I want to say, look, that green can match with that green. So I'll take the third piece, put it up onto an adjoining face, and get ready to use that. And what I want to think is that I'm going to move the green across to there, and it's sitting on top of a red. So I'll move it across to make that pair, and I want a red to go into its position so that that red will turn back to there. And so I can see here's my third piece, so that means I've just got to turn it down like that. And what I mean by that is, if I wanted the red to be on the bottom, then I'd probably need to turn that across like that and turn this side down so the red goes on the bottom. But as I said, in this case I want the red to remain on top. So there we go. So we can just do a down, down, up, up. To put that in, I can return my centers, and you'll see the orange comes back to make that one, the red's made, and that green one is made. So that's all there is to reducing the edges. The only thing that you might get caught on is you might accidentally get down to 2 remaining. Let's have a look at that. Alright, well here we've got a red-orange and a red-orange, and you can see they're totally not done. And they're the only 2, so I can't 3-cycle home anything. I can't use another piece up here to deal with that. So in that position, or that case, what you want to do is have the 2 pieces that you want to join on the same line. So you can see the red and the red are on the same line here. You want to grab one of them and push the other one out, just like that. Now what we want to do is the newly formed non-matched pair, take it out to this layer and return it flipped. So firstly, I'll take it out to that layer like that, and then because I want to return it flipped, remember if I've taken it out, the orange was on top. Now I want the red to be on top, so I'll just turn that around to there and do a down, down, up, up. And then I'll return my centers, and you'll see that the reds come back and the oranges are also done. So that is certainly all that will happen with reducing the edges. Now from here, what we can now do is go ahead and put our centers back. They haven't moved, they've just rotated, so they haven't moved out of position or anything like that. So we can just turn them back and say, right, well, let's begin by doing the white cross as we start solving this puzzle as a reduced 3x3, I guess. As an example, I've got here a white, blue, orange, and that belongs here. You'll notice that the white is not on the bottom, but it's on this front part, and so I need to turn the position down, put the white on, turn it up, and undo. I always want to do those 4 moves because what that does is keep the correct orientation of these middle layer centers. And that one's placed. I'll look for another white one. There's one there clearly, there's one there. Is there any more down the bottom? Oh, there's one in the middle. So what I might do is take that one off to the bottom, just turn it off and return. The yellow doesn't matter, obviously, because it's no orientation to that. So that's white, blue, red. So I can see that this time the white is on the bottom face, and so I want to turn 2 turns down, place it on, and return those turns, and that is placed. Now we've got a white, green, red, and this time the white is on the front, not on the bottom, so again I'm actually going to turn it off from where it should be, position it down, turn it on, return, return. And that'll leave one more, which is the white, orange, green. You can see here that I can just turn it up, except that I lose the orientation there. So I just want to involve this third piece here and turn that off. Now move its position down, undo those moves. And what that does is quite clearly complete the white cross. Now in this solve, what I'm going to do is do my corners here as well. So I'm going to work across. There's a white blue corner there. I'll find where that belongs. It's sitting underneath where it belongs now, and I can just turn it up with an up, up, down, down. That's in. Now I've got a white orange. Turn that underneath where that belongs and turn that up with an up, up, down, down. I only want to do 3 of these, so I'll see if I've got another white one. I've got a couple of white ones in there on the bottom. So the white is on the bottom face, the white red's underneath where it needs to go. If it's on the bottom face, it just means you're going to have to do 3 up, up, down, downs. Like so. So we've got 3 of the corners. I'm now going to use this 4th white corner to help me place the other 3 middle layer edges. So as an example, I'll turn this corner around underneath this edge. Note that it's got to be orange. There's the orange edge. That's clearly not oriented correctly, so it must need to be turned to here. And now I can just do a down, down, up, up. And you'll realise that down, down, up, up is really the same as up, up, down, down in terms of the actual sort of moves that are going on. Now if I continue to turn that corner around, I'm now looking for what, a blue. Do I have a blue? I don't really have a blue because it's over here. What I really need also is the red. Let's get the blue out, so I'll turn it one more and just take that blue out like that. Now I can bring my unused corner back to where it was. Look to see if that's correct. That's not correct, so turn that around and put it in. And now you just remember where it belongs. It actually belongs here, if I can get this turned. So that's the last one I want to think about. So this red one is the one I want to do. However, the red is in that position. So again, I just want to take that out first of all. Now I can turn underneath its position, and I think again I'll have to turn it around like that. Okay, that being done, I can turn this back and you look around there and you can see that most of the bottom 2 layers, in fact the bottom 3 layers, is done. All that I've got is this corner and this edge. I'm now going to go ahead and start using this to place the edges on the top. As I said, there's no orientation here. So what I'm looking to do initially is get this edge in, and it is already in, and get this edge in. So there's 2 back edges corresponding to here. So this edge is the yellow, blue, orange, which sits here. So I can 3 cycle that. Like so, that one's in. Now I look to see what I'm left with. I've got a yellow orange in its position, but flipped, and I've got these 2 which need to swap. Now thankfully, because I don't have any orientation on these center parts, I can happily turn that top face 1 turn, and that's going to deal with the swap that I had. What I need to do is now re-solve these 2 edge pieces which were there. You remember they were in these back 2 positions. I've turned them around, I want to re-solve them. So again, I'll 3 cycle this one home to there first of all. And then I'll 3 cycle this one, perhaps using this, this, and this here. So turn its position around, put it on, and undo those 2 moves. If we look again, we'll see that that edge and that edge are both in where they should be. And now what I'm going to have is a 3 cycle. Yellow orange needs to go here, the green to here, the yellow green to here. As a couple of possibilities, but essentially you want to have a look and see how they're going to orient when they go in. And what you really are looking for is 2 of them to orient correctly and 1 of them to orient incorrectly. So we can see the green, that's correct. What about this yellow green? When that goes up to there, that's incorrect. Yellow orange, incorrect. Now because 2 of them are incorrect, it does mean we're going to get the single flipped edge at the end, which is exactly what we want. Well, it's not really what we want, it's what I want to demonstrate how to deal with it. So let me first cycle those 3 home, or at least in their positions. You can see that's incorrect. Oh, I've got to stop saying that. That is positioned correctly, that is positioned correctly, this is not, and it's the only edge that's not there. Now the fix for that is the same as the normal 4x4 fix. What we want to do is push out the centers and then resolve them using an even number of turns. So for example, I'm going to grab just half the cube, turn it 1 turn like that, and now these are my center pieces here. And so because of that, in fact they might even be these ones. It's a little bit annoying to tell. Anyway, what I want to do is say that green red's got to go back here. So I'm going to turn this face 180, and I'm going to push the green red, push these green reds out with this one, like I was doing before, turn the face 180 degrees, and then bring them back. And what you'll notice is that I did 1 turn here, which was a single turn, and I turned this face 180, and then I brought it back, and that means it's an even number of turns. Now I go and do exactly the same thing over here. So it's the orange greens this time. So 1 turn to push them out, 1 turn to bring them back, and finally my orange blues. Same thing. And of course the last center will be done. Now at this point what I can do is now go and just turn those centers each. Let's have a look. In fact, I'm not even ready to turn them yet, because what that has done, there's actually no need whatsoever, is create 3 of these pieces which need to now be solved. So let's have a look. The red's looking good. Yep, the reds can line up. So what I'll do is use this as my 3rd piece, put it up to that top layer again, and do just as I did before. So the blue's got to go to the top. Turn that back, and what I've done is not only deal with the centers, deal with that single flipped edge, but now I've reduced those 3 edges that were not good. Now I can look again, turn the centers around to where they should be, and annoyingly you'll now find that you've got to kind of almost restart. You've got the edges reduced, you've got to put these corners back in. I'll whip through that quite quickly once I've done the white cross again. Now when that's done, what I've got back to here is all the white corners done. I'm using this, and I've got 2 edges and they're in their correct positions but they're flipped. So to deal with that, this is a pretty simple thing. We just want to basically use a 3rd piece and turn 1 of them onto the 3rd piece, doing a down, down, up, up. And then what we will find then is we'll have a 3 cycle. And you might remember earlier in the video I was saying that you want to find 2 that are going to position correctly. So there's one of them, the yellow, green, red. What about this one? There's the other one, just the red. And you want to find 1 that is going to position or orient not correctly, and that's that one. So once we've found that one, it tells us that we want to turn its position across and then turn it up to its position, and then undo those moves, and that will deal with those last 3 edges. Now from here we've got the corners to solve, and I propose to use a very, very simple routine. I've got a yellow red here. I could place that. I don't really want to place this one at the minute. I'll go to place the yellow orange, and so to do that I want to get the yellow orange down to here first of all. So I'm just going to use up, up, down, down the entire time. There we go. Now, yes, stuff is going crazy down here. Just ignore that. It'll all come out in the wash at the end. So yellow-orange, I now want to turn my yellow-orange position here and then do an up, up, down, down until it's placed. And that only took one of them. There we go, that's done. I can turn that back. That's placed. Got a yellow-green. Yep, I can place that. So I'll turn the yellow-green position there. Up, up, down, down. Still needs more. Still needs more. And now it's placed. I'll turn that back. What have I got? A yellow-blue. That's got to go there. So let's turn that and do an up, up, down, down. And I can turn that back and we'll see what's going on. In this scenario, I've got two remaining and they just need to be twisted. Now, normally I would straight away show you exactly what's going on, but because I also want to show you the possibility that you'll get two corners that are swapped, I want to actually go straight to that because it'll probably end up coming back to this situation anyway. Alright, and here's what I wanted to show you, which is we've got the red-yellow and the red-white corners need to be swapped. And no amount of continuing to do up, up, down, downs will do that. So I'm going to use the fix that I would use for a 4x4. It's very, very simple fix, and basically what it is we've got a single swap of corners. We want to create a single swap of edges. So to do that, I'm going to turn the bottom half of the cube 2 turns, and let's just pretend the red-orange, I'm interested in the edge there. I want to basically turn that up and bring it back down reversed. So up to the top face, and then to bring it back down reversed, we'll turn it down here, across there and do it down, down, up, up. And you can see quite clearly that's reversed both by orientation and by colour. Then I want to turn the entire cube around and do exactly the same thing for this one. Okay, now having done that, I can return that bottom half of the cube, and what I'm going to see is the reds and the oranges have swapped. So I've now got a single pair of swapped edges. Now from here, what you want to basically do is go ahead and just re-solve the bits that have now come out. And so we can see, you know, there's a couple on the white face. I'll do that and then just continue doing what I was doing. And let's start doing that. And here we are back to the situation which we had right at the beginning, where, or the beginning of this section, where we had a couple of corners in their positions but twisted. And what I want to do here is basically find the one that needs to be twisted anti-clockwise, which happens to be this one here, and just hold it so that we can basically turn another face to bring another corner up to there, and then the same thing this way as well. So we want to do a couple of up, up, down, downs. And what's going to happen is this is going to twist around anti-clockwise. So let's do that first. Up, up, down, down. We'll do that again. And you can see, having done that, that is correctly positioned and oriented. Now, this one isn't. So what we now do is just turn that back face across to put the other one in there and reverse what we did. And you'll notice we did an up, up, down, down starting with the left face. So now I'm going to do an up, up, down, down starting with the right face. There's one of them. And you can see there it is. And by the time I'm finished, that's correctly oriented. I turn back that like that. And you can see that those corners have been done, and this 4x4 windmill cube has been solved.